Oh, that's a pretty sight there. That's a pretty sight. Good old Link right there, Lincoln Financial Field, home of the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And I was here today looking around at the pro shop. As I said I was going to go yesterday when I showed the pickups I got, and I said I would do a vehicle vlog, and indeed I did. And I deleted it. I got off on a tangent about I didn't like the way it ended, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it again on the way home, which is a shame in a way because you missed me cursing out a U-Haul driver. That was fun, but anyway, I said I was coming today to South Philly to see the Phillies, the clubhouse store for their sales, their clearance stuff, and indeed they had quite a few things, and it was cool because one of the items I was able to get was a hoodie with the old school Phillies Fat P, and on Fanatics, even though it's on sale there, it was $20 more on Fanatics than I just paid to get it at the ballpark store. So that's why you shop around, right? My mom taught me well back in the day to always look around, look for the deal. So I actually got that particular hoodie for $20 less at the ballpark store than I would have had to pay at Fanatics. But, you know, it is what it is. But anyhow, I just want to share, I did grab a couple holiday items from the Eagles Pro Shop, but I also got some clearance stuff from the Phillies clubhouse store at the ballpark before this. And these are actually 15 bucks each. So you got the Phillies, the star logo there, a little, underneath. This is a fitted for 15 bucks. That's not bad. I actually forgot if I had it or not. So if I have it now, I have two. But it's a nice hat, so it's one I wouldn't mind having two of. I know I had one similar to that, and I just couldn't remember. I know I have one that had a front panel white with the star logo, but I can't remember if I got just the red one or not. This is what happens when you have as many hats as I do. You tend to forget. So, but like I said, it's a nice hat, so if I have two of them, I have two of them, whatever. But 15 bucks is still a pretty good deal. Got the Liberty Bell, the Flex Fit, 3930, I believe. 3930, yeah, 3930, right there with the Phillies on the back. I know they had a version of this. You see Slice wear it a lot. Shout out to Slice with the Florida logo from the spring training, but this one doesn't have that. It's just a regular clubhouse edition or whatever it is. And this was the one I went for. This was the one that, I go for one thing and I pick up more. But this is the one that I wanted to get during the season. I never did get it. Little Stars and Stripes action for the Phillies, little patriotic Phillies hat, 3930 with the American flag on the back. Really nice there, patriotic looking hat. And I wanted to get it during the year, I just didn't for whatever reason. But I got it now, and I got it on sale, so it all worked out. And I eyeballed up the authentic jerseys because I figure, the Phillies, I don't believe, are going to wear the City Editions next year because I think next year they're going to debut a new one. So at some point, all these are going to start going on clearance. And they have some authentics there, and I'm like, doing my due diligence. They weren't on sale today, but I figured, it's only a matter of time. And they had other authentics of, they had a few players that may or may not be here next season, kind of put off to the side. And I'm like, if those go on sale, some authentics with the IBX patch on this, the sponsor patch on this, if they go cheap enough, we'll see. See, my eyes got a little wide there, You can never have too many Phillies jerseys, What it is, what it is. I know they've been a disappointment in the playoffs. God knows we know. But, with the jersey itself is just a great-looking jersey. But at any rate, I digress from that. I'm going to hit the road, and I'm going to take you with me for a little vehicle vlog action here. We're going to take two of this vehicle vlog. And instead of doing a vehicle vlog to South Philly, I'm going to do a vehicle vlog leaving South Philly. Going to be going to get myself some Wawa for a late lunch. Not quite sure what I'm going to have, but we'll see. I know the Gobbler's out there. The Thanksgiving-themed hoagie, which I've had, is very tasty. I don't think I'm going to get Gobbler because I have at home, actually I got yesterday, Grubhubbed it over some pizza and garlic bread. And I still have some pizza and garlic bread left over. But what I want to do with the leftover garlic bread is I have sausages, and I want to make a sausage sandwich with the garlic bread. I think it's going to be tasty as hell. So I don't know if I want to have a hoagie because I'm kind of eating something similar in the evening. And I'm kind of funny that way. If I'm eating one thing in the evening, I kind of don't want to eat the same kind of thing for lunch. So but the good thing about Wawa is they have a lot of different options, so I'll have to figure it out. We'll get there. But right now, I'm just leaving. I just left the link. There's Citizens Bank over there, and over to my left is the Exmo. Well, this is Xfinity Live, what you're seeing right there, which is like, they have a lot of restaurants and bars and stuff like that. But behind it, back there, is the Xfinity Mobile Arena, where the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, the Sixers. Let's try this again. The Sixers, Flyers, and Wings play. The Wings are the indoor lacrosse team. Of course, the Union play in Chester, which isn't that far from here. The Union now, they're playing. I had the Union on the mind because they are playing next weekend in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference playoff. They are hosting New York FC, which they got very creative with their name. But New York FC is going to be playing the Union next weekend as the Union try to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2022, when they won and they then lost in that damn skills competition to LAFC in heartbreaking fashion. The same day that the Phillies lost Game 6 of the World Series, it was not a very good day. That was not a very good day. Not many cities lose 2 championships in the same day, but we did. But it's all part of the toughness of being a Philly sports fan. So let's go Union, and of course let's go to all the local teams here. The Eagles have a big one tomorrow night at home against Detroit, Sunday Night Football. I know I reserved that for the Season of the Fan series, and I am remiss that I haven't really kept up with it as good this season, but just been a lot going on. But the Eagles are off to a 7-2 start, and people can't complain about it enough. It used to be that we wanted a Super Bowl so badly. It's like it was the driving force of this fan base. We want to win. We want to win. When's it going to be our turn? When are we going to do it? And then they did it, winning Super Bowl 52 back in 2017 against the Patriots in dramatic fashion. And then they won again last year, and they had as dominant a team as you're going to have. And it's hard when you're that good to be that good for a prolonged period of time. It's like it was the perfect storm last season. It just worked out, right? And then we go from that, which there were some drama-filled moments last season, too. We go from that to more drama this season with the A.J. Brown and social media and all this. I just, but my point here is that for years, this fan base wanted a quarterback that could win the big game, that could, be consistent. And we have one and we don't know what to do. It's like, yeah, but he doesn't throw for 300 yards a game. He doesn't do this, but he wins. Now it's not good enough. See, we went from a point that we wanted to win, and now that we get to the point that we won, it's not good enough. Now it has to be better. It's funny, but I just want to get to the game so we can just get away from the drama. Hopefully they play well on both sides of the ball this week and come away with a big win against Detroit in a big game. And if they win that game, they got tiebreakers versus just about everyone but Seattle, because they didn't play them this season. They've crossed every challenge that you can cross, and still it's just, but there's got to be drama. Sports and drama, just they connect, they interconnect. And I just anyhow, I didn't want to go on a tangent about that, but I saw the link, I was at the link, and you think of tomorrow's game, and it's a big one. Detroit wants to be the big boys on the block. Well, you know, there's already one. You know, there's a big boy on the block right now that people tend to forget about, and you know, Detroit's going to have to. You know, they're going to see tomorrow night. We're going to see. We're going to see Mr. Goff. We're going to see. We're going to see Mr. Go for it every fourth down Campbell. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow night. You'll see. Don't worry. You'll get introduced to us tomorrow night. You haven't seen us yet, but you will. And maybe we'll see you again in the playoffs here during the in January. And if you think it's tough playing in the regular season here, you can ask some of those teams who've come to the link at the playoff time how fun it is playing in this environment then. Ooh. Anyhow, I digress from that. It is today is November 15th, already middle of the month, and we're just about over a month away from 2026, and the holidays are here. It seems like the holidays came before Halloween this year. I really don't understand why it gets earlier and earlier, but to me, the holiday season really doesn't officially start until Thanksgiving, when we have the Thanksgiving Day Parade here in Philly. It's the oldest Thanksgiving Day Parade in the nation, by the way, and it isn't in my mind, and I know I just got some Eagles holiday items, because of course I did, but in my mind, it's not the holiday season until that parade goes by and the Santa Claus comes by and runs up the Art Museum steps like Rocky at the end with Mrs. Claus. Then it becomes the holiday season to me. But it is what it is. And then we have football, you know, Thanksgiving. And this year the Eagles play on Black Friday right here in South Philly against the Bears. So it is definitely going to be a big Thanksgiving and Black Friday weekend around here. So, but you know, Thanksgiving, you know, you think about the you know, the time with friends and family, and you know, I'm going to be going to my dad's and visit with him and my stepmom for Thanksgiving, and you know, I look forward to that, having a nice Thanksgiving dinner with them. And you know, it puts things this time of year, you know, I know it's kind of tough because, you know, there's a lot of depression, you know, that goes with this time of year. People kind of, you know, because you think about the year that's been, you think about the resolutions you made, you probably didn't keep, I didn't keep. You know, and you think about all these things throughout the year and all these events that may have happened, and maybe you lost some loved ones. Like last year, I lost my mom, right? So obviously, you know, it could be a very somber type time of year, and but it could also be a very joyous time of year. And for me, I try to keep it lighthearted. I do try to keep this channel a positive channel and lighthearted, and you know. In fact, I just got a comment from the video I did yesterday. Someone said, I always enjoy looking forward to your videos, and it's something that uplifts me, and it's just something along those lines. It's a positive part of their life, and I honestly, I'm very you know, humbled by that, because you know, I make these videos because it's fun for me to do it, and you know, I've been doing it since 2009, and it's just something I guess I kept up with because it's just, to me, it's a nice release. It's, you know, I work 5 days a week, you know, Monday through Friday. That's a job. This I never see like a job. That's why I won't be monetized. I won't do any of that, because I don't want to make this feel like it's work for me, you know. There's that nice Dick Allen Memorial that they put up last year. Right now I'm on Broad Street in South Philly, so just noticing things, but you know, this channel has always been something that I just enjoy doing. I enjoy doing the videos. They're very bare boned, as you see. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. I don't do a lot of editing and stuff. I might do it here and there in iMovie, but you know, I just kind of keep it the way it's always been. And I just, you know, you talk about this time of year, you talk about reflection, you talk about, right, what you did throughout the year. And, you know, I think about, you know, with this channel, since I started it way back in 2009, and I had that little rinky-dink camera that I can only film about 15 minutes at a time and then upload the video to YouTube. And back then it was a big deal to upload. You had to plug it in the computer. It was a I don't miss that. Now I just use my phone and it just a couple clicks and it uploads. But back then it took a long time to upload a 15-minute video. It took a good amount of time to do, but I always enjoyed doing it. My dad told me something recently that kind of stuck with me. He said, when I was younger, I used to have a tape recorder, and back in the day of tape recorders, in cassette tapes, and I used to do a journal, and I used to talk into the tape recorder and do this journal about my day or about my week or what have you. And he said that I kept up with it pretty good, and he says, these videos remind him of me doing those journals, and in a way it's true, because what am I doing here? I'm talking, right? I'm going over my day. I'm going over, in the life, right? In the life is, what happens, and most of it's about pickups and hats and jerseys and what have you, and sports talk and whatnot, but yeah, in a way it is kind of like a journal, and I'm very happy for YouTube to have an outlet like this to put video content out there. I know there's many other places that you can do it, and that's just grown over the years, right? Social media has just volcanoed into something, not always the greatest, but it's a way to communicate. It's a way to communicate with others, but it's kind of like in a way it's also like a time capsule. Because you can remember moments and stuff. Like I have both Eagles Super Bowl wins on YouTube. My reactions to both of their Super Bowl wins so far in franchise history is here on YouTube. Other times, and when my mom passed last year, I have my reflections on that here on YouTube. I have, times that I remember with good friends I've shared here on YouTube, and family and whatnot, right? Going to events, doing things. Making great friends throughout the years, and YouTube has allowed me to do a lot and allowed me to share a lot about my life, and it's not a particularly it might not be the most entertaining life, but it's me just sharing a part of myself to whoever wants to watch, and I enjoy doing this, and I'll continue to do it hopefully for a very long time. And throughout this too, right? I throughout the year, you talk about reflection of 2025. One of the big things for me this year is having those procedures done for my heart and get the stents put in. And, I went over that stuff with you all, right? And I even had people commenting after I did my Mighty reviews for some of the fast food that I shouldn't be doing that with the stent. And believe me, it's in moderation. I don't always eat fast food. But you like what you like, and in moderation, I'll continue to, it's true, I got to be careful, but in moderation, I think is okay. As I look at a chicken and burger place right over there, it's, when you're hungry, that's not fair. But what's over here? Is this a diner? I thought I can look over here and it would be like a bank. No, it's a diner. Come on, light. Come on, light. Oh, God. That Wawa's looking real good right now. But no, again, it's in a way like a time capsule, like a journal, like a video journal, right? In this case, and I'm happy to have this opportunity. I'm happy to have an outlet like YouTube to do this, and I'm happy that what I do, in a way, brings joy to people, and people enjoy watching my reaction to things and pickups, and it's fun for me, and I'm glad it's fun for others out there. And I know I get people that, you get the comments when I'm showing the hockey, so why don't you get the authentic jersey? That's just going to go with the territory, but I enjoy doing what I do, and if I didn't, I wouldn't bring it to all of you. And and doing stuff like this, like a vehicle vlog, is part of the life, and I enjoy bringing this to you and people who want to watch this. It's a fun thing. And I'm reminded of Slim, you know, when he was visiting here. Shout out to Slim, saying, I don't know how you drive in the city. Slim, you just, as I told him, and I'll tell all of you, you just got to keep your head on a swivel. So you got to expect that everyone else around you is an idiot. I don't understand how some people get the license. Well, I do. But it just makes no sense the way some people, how did they pass the test? How in the world did they do that? But it's, yeah, I am remiss that the original vid I did for this and the U-Haul driver, that was, but hopefully we don't have a relapse of that. That was, a paint store. See, that doesn't remind me of food. That's good. We need more of that. I don't want to see any more. Oh, Papa John's. Oh no. I had good pizza last night too. I didn't do a Mighty reviews on that one, but it was a place I haven't ordered from before. And the funny thing is, it was a Grubhub order. And what happened was I placed the order and they never sent a courier. And then the restaurant called me and asked me how I liked the food. I said, well, I didn't get it yet. So I can't really tell you. They say, well, why didn't you come yet? I said, well, I put it through Grubhub so I didn't have to go out and use gas tonight. And they said, oh, okay, they'll take care of it. So they contacted Grubhub, and Grubhub contacted me. And they said, oh, sorry, the courier, we're sending a courier. And I told them, I didn't want to sound rude about it, but I said, well, we're living in an information age. Why is it that if there's any kind of issue, that the customer and the restaurant isn't notified for it right away? Why is it that we have to figure out about this way? And they told me, well, when you look at your order, you should always see a courier attached to your order. And I said, yeah, but you can't always go by that, because I've had instances on Grubhub where I place an order and the restaurant delivers it. It's not even a Grubhub, it's not one of the Grubhub couriers. I don't know, some of these restaurants probably have that in their deal, that they deliver the food. And so I can't always go by if I see a courier there or not, because sometimes these restaurants, and I think mostly it's like the Chinese restaurants or pizza places, those are usually the ones that they'll have their own people, employees deliver the food, even if it's a Grubhub order. Again, I don't know how they do it. It's probably something they have a way of doing it. So I don't always see a courier attached to my order. Sometimes it would just say the restaurant's delivering the food. But last night was one of those situations where, and it was the first time it happened to me, but there was no courier dispatched for the order for whatever reason. It was a Grubhub issue, and they dispatched a courier while they were on the phone with me. That stuff happens. I get it. There's no such thing as perfection. Even though we're living in an age where everything's so simple, it's a press here, a press there. Ooh, nice old car. Oh my. Yeah, that's a nice one. We're living in an age where everything should be a lot easier and everything is very convenient. Everything's a press of a button away, but there still can be problems, and like what happened with me last night with Grubhub. But I got the food, really good pizza. I think it was Middletown Pizza, I think was the name of the place. Very good pizza. The garlic bread was great. The bit I had of it, saving the rest for tonight. But it was good, definitely good. But there was a hiccup there, and it is what it is. This area on Broad Street, I didn't want to say it too loud because my window's up in the person. It's a very photogenic place. There's a medium in the middle of the road here, and people stand and they'll have their pictures. City Hall's right in front of us. You can't see it on camera right now. I can because I'm driving. but City Hall is direct in front of me, and it's a very photogenic area in the city. Yeah, you have horns, they work. That's great. Wow, very good. Anything, I'll join the fun. But it's a very photogenic place. A lot of people will take their pictures on this medium in front of City Hall on Broad Street. But particularly around the holiday time, you see I have all the different lights and stuff, and you know, different holiday decor is up. I think the tree came the other day. They put the tree down, but they don't light it up until the week after Thanksgiving. They light it up, I think this year it's the Thursday, it's a week after Thanksgiving, it's that Thursday. Man, people love blowing their horns, man. It's not even New Year's, but but yeah, so you always see people here standing in the medium and someone's taking their picture. A lot of times it's like a professional photographer with like a model or something. A lot of times, because this is also known as the Avenue of the Arts, so you have like the theater here, you have different, you know, for the hoity-toities out there who get dressed up, you know, so they'll take their pictures here, you know, all dressed up to go to the show or whatever, and everything. So it's pretty cool to see it. I mean, you know, would I do it? You know, probably not, because I'm, you know, I'm not going to the theater anytime soon. But it's cool to see it. And there was someone getting their picture taken as I was waiting at the light a little back there, and you know, I don't know. I thought to bring it up, but you know, I'm glad it's the holiday season. You know, I always look forward to it, even though it can be stressful. And you talk about getting gifts for people and everything, and it can be, but it's a nice time of year, and you know, I get festive for it. I like to, you know, decorate, and I don't really go crazy, but I have a small little tree that I plug in. And by the way, speaking of trees, shout out to my buddy Slim again. He got new lights for his tree. He got the Kelly green and white lights, the eagle lights, you know, eagle colored lights for his tree, and he got that all taken care of and put up. I think I'm in the wrong lane. They redid the road here. They redid the. Oh well, we'll have to make the best of this, but it looks good, Slim, and you know, I like I said, I have this little tree. I bring down, but it's just easy, and you know, the older I get, the more easy I like things. So I just plug it in, and, yeah. But I get lights, you know, I put string lights up and whatever, and actually this here, what I want to do, this isn't good. I gotta get over. I know I might be breaking some laws doing that, but you know, it is what everyone breaks the law here. It's beyond Thunderdome. There's no rules here. The rules of the road do not apply to Philadelphia. But there's something I do want to do. I kept hearing this ad on the radio every commercial break, and there's this company called Delco String Lights, and I live in Delco. In where I live is the county is Delco, Delaware County, Delco for short. And so this company, they will come to the house and they will put the lights up, these nice LED lights, and it's all controlled by an app that you put on your phone afterwards. And they have, you know, millions of different light options, color scheme options that you can do. You could do Eagles, you could do, you know, for the teams, Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, all that, but holiday stuff too. And I've always wanted lights outside the house, but I'm not a height guy. I don't like ladders. I won't go on a ladder. So I'm like, I want to put lights up, but no. I don't want to get on a ladder to go on the roof. And now I hear about this company that they do it, and it looks really good and professional, and you have these nice looking lights that apparently supposedly last forever, and you can put lights up for whatever you want to do every night basically. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, so I might look into that next month. And I might get the lights put on the roof, and like however they're going to do it, maybe line the roof or whatever. And I don't know about the windows, but we'll see. But nope, I don't want copyright. Go away. Yeah. Alright, now I have to get over again. This is fun. Oh, there's a Bronco. That might be my next vehicle. We'll see. But I didn't get it this year. My dad was like, you should get a newer vehicle with better safety, doohickeys in the vehicle than what you have. And I didn't do it this year, but probably next year I'm thinking either get a Jeep Wrangler or one of the newer Ford Broncos. So I like the look of those. This is a Jeep. This is a Patriot, but so I've had a Jeep. I've had a Jeep product twice in my life. I had a Cherokee Sport, which was my first vehicle, and then I've had this Patriot for some years. And I have this, and I have the Mini, and neither have the the updated safety, the blinking lights and all that stuff that when people are near you or whatever. I don't have the camera to look when I'm backing up or whatever. So my dad's like, well, one of the things you should do is get a newer vehicle, and I agree. I agree with that. And as much as I'd love to get a Mustang again, that might have to wait, because I don't. I think it's best if I have at least a daily driver that I can get through in all different weather. And we've had some. I don't think we've had like rough winters, but every time you think, oh well, we're doing it, and then you're going to get dumped on. So it's good to have an SUV for that, for rain, what have you. Plus storage space, for groceries and whatnot. Yeah, a Mustang and a Mini, that might not be a good idea. A good combination together. But I've driven in leather. When I used to have the old Mustang, here we go. Yeah. Okay. I told you have to keep alert. Oh, look at this. Cab goes right through the light. Yeah, he's on the meter. So anyhow, the Mustang. I had the Mustang, and I got good all-weather tires on it. When I first got it, it didn't have them, and it just happened that we had one of those snowstorms, and oh boy, that was. I always tell one of the stories that I remember about my mom is my mom was very worried about me having that vehicle, and of course, as soon as I got it, we had a snowstorm, and it got stuck in the driveway. Because it didn't have the good all-weather tires, and was trying to get it out, and the neighbor came over to help push, and my mom was my poor mom. She was delegated to trying to drive it. That wasn't a good idea, because my mom, you have to imagine this little Hindu woman in the Mustang. And the neighbor and I are pushing from behind. We got it unstuck, and my mom didn't know where the brake was. And she almost hits the fence. I can laugh about it because nothing bad happened, but she went into another snowbank. And then the car got stuck again. And she got out of the car. I didn't know how to stop. I said, well, you hit the brake like you would on you have a Ford, you have a Taurus. Hit the brakes in the same spot. Oh, she had this look of fear coming out of the car. Like, I never want to drive this again. And I said, I hope you don't have to. Clearly Literally, you didn't know where the brake was. Oh, it was great. It was, oh, you had to have been there for it. You had to just, I can still imagine it today. You had to be there for that. Oh, my goodness. But anyhow, then what we did was we got better all-weather tires on it. It handled pretty good in the snow. You know, once we got the right tires on it, I did okay in the snow with the Mustang after that. It was a sad day when I had to sell. When I sold it, it was a sad day for me. I really liked the car, but things started happening, and with Ford products, yeah, you got to expect things are going to happen. And it just started, you know, things started breaking down, and I just figured it was time to move on, and that's when I got the Jeep, what I have here. And it's starting to rain. I didn't think it was going to rain today. This weather's been a little crazy. But I had to let the Mustang go, and it was, like I said, it was a sad day because I had that car for a while, and I loved it. I would get a Mustang again. I would. I will not get the Mustang SUV because I don't see the point in those. But a Mustang is supposed to be a car, not an SUV. No. But I think I will go. I want to go to the Wawa in Narberth, I think. So I want to go this way. Usually I will turn here, go past the zoo, go drive through the hood, because let people know what time it is. But it's MightyFan time. But I'm gonna keep on the Schuylkill here. Usually it's backed up, but today it looks okay. Over there it is. So I'm glad I'm not going that way, on the other side. But I'm gonna just stay on it, and then I'm gonna get off at City Line and make my way over to Narberth. Go to the Wawa there. Oh, okay. Now we start getting a little backed up. See, I spoke too soon. Damn it! I should have known better with the Schuylkill. You can't assume everything's going to be smooth. Ah, nuts. Oh well. Well, we have extended time, so. But yeah, so I think the next vehicle is either going to be, like I said, a Wrangler or a Bronco. I just have to decide which one. I have to do test drives and all that, you know. And it's not like I need it right away, so I can take my time, you know, with it. But I think that's going to happen. But I do want to get a Mustang again someday. Maybe if I have to move on from the Mini. Hopefully that's many years from now. But maybe then I'll get the Mustang again. I got all these crazy ideas that will never happen. Like I love classic muscle cars, and one of my favorites is like a 70 or 71 Chevelle SS. You see them a lot in movies. I mean, Dom's drove it back in the Fast and Furious movies. You see them a lot, you know, in movies. It's a good movie car, but I've always liked them. Yeah, the Ecto one, you know, that would be a dream car of mine, but that's never going to happen. Even Slim's like, if you ever get an Ecto one, where would you put it? I'm like, I have no idea, Slim. That's one of those, if it ever happens, I worry about it then, but I know it's never going to happen. So, and I would hit the siren. Yeah. That's my favorite movie vehicle. It's always been. But no, I think I'll probably play it safe and just go with more of a modern, you know, Mustang at some point when I do go back to a Mustang. But it will happen someday. But hopefully that's many years from now. Jersey-wise, I mean, like I said, I mean, City Edition, we all know. I talked about it yesterday when I showed what I got. I'm still waiting on the one, and the one I'm waiting on, I got lucky because the FOMO, right? I didn't move on it right away, and then I went back for it. It was gone. Fanatics, it was all sizes were gone. NBA shop, even that team's shop, which I believe is I think it's called Just Sports, if I'm not mistaken, Just Sports Arizona. It was gone. Dixit was gone. It was the Phoenix Suns, the return of the original Valley jersey. And I wanted to get that in an authentic. And D-Book, you know, was the player I wanted to get, and it was gone everywhere. And then on Nike, they still had the authentic in my size, so I lucked out. I got it there, and I think I can turn here. Yeah, I got it there, and I got the hat on Fanatics because the hat that I thought would go perfect for it was on Fanatics, so I got that one. But the jersey, I mean, like I said, I lucked out because it was gone everywhere, and I'm surprised it was still available on Nike. And I just happened to go back on there because I was on Nike for a bit when the launch happened, and I didn't get anything initially off Nike. I got most of what I got off of NBA Shop or Fanatics, and then the Pacers stuff I got from their team shop because they had a player I wanted, in that style. But the D-Book I was able to get off Nike, and that's probably going to come in next week, if not today. But I think it's coming next week. The hat should be here too from Fanatics. So once I get those in, of course, I'll share them. But I was happy. That's one of the ones I was happy to get a second chance on, because originally when they came out a few years ago, they were going. I mean, they were instant sellers, and then the resale market, like the secondary markets afterwards, that got flooded with the prices they wanted, even for Swingman, were just ridiculous. And then the other problem was the fakes came out, and the fake Swingman versions of it, and they got flooded. So it was either I saw one that was just crazy price, or it was a fake. Like I just had no success with that jersey years ago. And when it was coming out again this year, I knew I had interest in it, but there were still other ones that I wanted to get first, and I wanted to make sure I secured first. Once I got those, I went back for the Suns, and it was, like I said, it was gone, and I just looked everywhere I could think of, and when I went to Nike.com and they still had it, I was pretty pleased. And I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised that it was still there in my size, and I grabbed it. And, so I'm glad that once it comes in the mail, I'll be able to have it, because it was one that escaped me before, and I'm glad it didn't this time. There's others out there that I still would like to get. Like I said, the Spurs. I like the Spurs one. I'd like to get a Wemby in that. I do like the Mavericks. I like the Pegasus wings on that one. The problem is I don't know what player I want to get. The only authentic they have available still is Kyrie Irving, and leave in the comments if you know. I'm not sure when he's going to play this year. That was my problem with the Halliburton jersey. As much as I love the old school colorway Flojo, the only authentic they had was Halliburton. He's not playing, and I don't know. I think it's for the whole year, so I don't know if he's ever going to wear that jersey unless they wear it again when he plays over the next few years. But so that's why I wanted to get a player who's going to wear it. That's another reason why, and I've gotten Embiid every year since the City Edition started. I got a Joel Embiid Sixer jersey every year. And I didn't get Joel this year because I wasn't sure if he was going to play in the games that they're going to wear the jersey. So I figured I'd play it safe and get Tyrese Maxey, because unless he gets hurt, and he's a Sixer, so it could happen. But I figured he's going to wear the jersey. I mean, it just made more sense to go after a player that I figured was going to wear the jersey. Again, that's why I went after the Pascal Siakam, instead of Halliburton. Even though the only authentic in that is Halliburton to date, anyhow. And that's why I'm just not sure about the Mavericks, because if Kyrie doesn't play, I don't want to have that, jersey of a player that's not going to wear it. I could, never say never, but I don't know. And so far, the only authentic I see of it is Kyrie Irving. Now, there's swingmans of Kyrie, there's swingmans of Cooper Flagg and Thompson, so there's other options there. And I know, they just, they wore, I forget if they wore it yet or not. I don't think they did, because I think they wore the green classic edition the other night. But at least I believe those guys are going to play and they're going to wear it, whether it's Flagg or whether it's Thompson. So it's like, in that regard, I'd rather get a player I know for sure is going to wear the jersey, even if it's just the swingman of it, which I don't mind. Those who know me know I don't really care that much if it's the authentic or swingman. But there's certain aspects sometime of a jersey that I would like to get the authentic of. And the Mavericks with the Pegasus wings, that would be kind of cool to have an authentic of, but I want to get it if the player's going to wear it. Oh, it's like that Mitchell and Ness made the throwback Ken Griffey Jr. Mariners, and he didn't wear the jersey. They made him an Ichiro, and Ichiro wore the jersey. Ken Griffey didn't wear the jersey. I mean, he wasn't on the team at that time. I think he had retired or whatever the case was. But they made it, and that was like one of the big topics of discussion when that jersey came out a few years ago, I believe. And it was the throwback Mariners, and it was Griffey, and he wasn't on. He didn't wear it. It's not that Mitchell and Ness never makes mistakes, but they made it, and they made Ichiro, and Ichiro wore the jersey, so I got the Ichiro one. And that's kind of how I feel about these. It's like, look, if I like the design enough, is it to say I'll never get an authentic Halliburton, even though he never wore the jersey? I don't know. I love that jersey, so you never say never. It's the same thing, if I have to, right, with the Mavericks. But, even there, because there's others available in swingman form of players that I know are going to wear that jersey, if I have to get that, then that's what I'll do, if the jersey's still available, at the time that I want to get it. But I do like the Mavericks. There's other jerseys. I don't know if I'll get it or not, but some of the designs I thought was kind of cool, like the Bulls. I like what the Bulls did. Shout out to Luca. I know Luca put out a nice video. The Jaguar, of course, showing all the jerseys, giving his thoughts and reviews of them. And I agree, Luca. I thought the Bulls did a nice job with theirs this year. The one I can't quite understand is the Hornets. I understand the concept of what they wanted to do. At least I think their concept was to do a little ode to the old Charlotte Bobcats, which is why they chose orange and kind of sunrise yellow, kind of in that color scheme for the jersey. The Bobcats weren't very good, but it is what kind of allowed the Hornets to go back to Charlotte, because Charlotte kind of renewed the NBA with the Bobcats, and they lost the Hornets. The Hornets moved originally to New Orleans, many years ago, and then they got a franchise back with the Bobcats, so that kind of put Charlotte back on the NBA map, and then eventually they got the Hornets back. And so I kind of understand why they would want to do it, but you're the Hornets. And if you're going to wear a jersey as the Charlotte Hornets, I just don't see why. If you're going to give an ode to the Bobcats, wear a Bobcats jersey as a classic edition jersey. When you wear those colors as the Hornets, again, it's city edition. So, Charlotte, the Hornets are just synonymous with that teal and purple. And when they brought that jersey, the jersey they brought back as a city edition is an ode also to the mixtape edition they did for the NBA 75th. And that's an awesome jersey. I have a swing in that ball. Beautiful jersey. That's the one they should have brought back. Instead, they go with this orange, I don't know, ode to the Bobcats or whatever it was, look that just bring the teal back. Just bring the same, do what other teams did and bring that popular jersey back the way it was, with the teal colorway, with that, that old school look with the pinstripe. That jersey was great. The mixtape edition from the 75th anniversary season. Yeah, it was an awesome looking jersey. I'm glad to have one. And that's the one they should have brought back. Instead, they go with this other colorway that just doesn't seem to work. And I kind of get the Bobcat concept, but it doesn't say Charlotte to me. It's not Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets is teal and purple. That's the Hornets. If you wanted ode the Bobcats, wear the old Bobcats jersey as a classic edition. You could bring that jersey back. I think it would look cool today. I thought it was a good looking jersey back then. If they wore it again as a classic edition, I wouldn't hate them for it. other teams have done it, right? The Sixers are doing it this year with the black jerseys, the AI, era jersey. But no, I that one. But and the funny thing is about that one, some of the gear looks kind of cool, but it's just, I just don't look at that and see Charlotte Hornets. I just, that kind of missed the mark for me. Gaudy, it's a gaudy jersey, I'll give it that. But, I don't know. I thought the Knicks one looked kind of cool. It kind of resembles their kind of, their 90s into the 2000s kind of look with the font. That looks, that looked kind of cool. Man, it's really raining. I did not see rain. Of course, I didn't look at the forecast this morning. But all week, it looked dry this weekend, and now all of a sudden we have rain. Okay. Hopefully it's a quick little storm. I don't know. Some of the other hits and misses, I like the Nets. Went back to the biggie, the Gucci jerseys. I actually got one on eBay, which is the biggie. It's the biggie jersey. It's that jersey. It's the city edition with the trim, but it says Biggie 72 on the back. I liked it. Because obviously I remember Biggie back in the day and everything that he meant to the hip hop community and everything that he meant to New York and everything that he meant to a lot of people who enjoyed his music and his sound and his flow. To me, he was just one of the all-time great lyricists of all time. You hear some of his songs and how he flows, how he puts things together. And the guy was an artist. He just was, and went way too soon. But so I saw the Biggie jersey on eBay, and I'm like, I gotta get this. I gotta get this. Rest in peace to Biggie. There was that, but I like they went back to that. The Nets went back to that. The Grizzlies, I didn't really know what to think of theirs. The Grizzlies have always been hit or miss with the City Edition. A lot of times they go, I just think for the Grizzlies, I think they go a little too plain sometimes. Like there's some that I really like last year's when they did the Ode to the Sounds. That was awesome. That was one of the best in the set last year. When they did the Ode to the Hip Hop group from Memphis those years ago, I got that one actually later on, but I finally got one. Those are the two favorites. They've done others with the tribal band that look really good, but sometimes, I don't know, they're one of those that you're either going to like it or not. Portland, the same thing. They keep doing the carpet theme from the airport. I'm sure that's one of the big things there. I've never been to Portland. I hear it's beautiful. I'd love to go to the Pacific Northwest someday. I really want to go to Seattle at some point. But they love that carpet in the airport. Every year they do the carpet theme jersey. Although the one year they did the Ode to Dr. Jack Ramsey, who's Philly Ties. He coached St. Joe's years ago, but that was cool. When they did that one. They did his plaid, design. He used to wear those plaid jackets back in the day. That was his thing. So that was cool when they did that one. But I like the Rockets. That's still one I want to get. It's one of the ones I wanted to get originally when it came out years ago. The H-Town, the Ode to Hakeem and Clyde. It has like a Houston Cougars kind of type of look to it, and Phi Slamma Jamma, right? So I like that they brought that back, and I like the hat and such that goes with it with the astronaut and with the basketball. I think that's a good look. I like the Raptors. You can never miss out with the dino on the jersey, and the fact that they did a little ode to their championship with the Raptor wearing the jersey, the North jersey from when they won the title. I think that's kind of, even though they hurt me that year, the Kawhi Leonard shot, that's still. I have a lot of wounds as a Sixers fan, and yeah, that's still one. Game 7, the quadruple bounce shot. But But look, they won that year, and they're owning it to with the Dino, with the jersey. I think it's cool. I never owned that jersey. Never say never. I loved last year's with the Vince Carter tribute. I got it. It's cool that the court this year still has that Vince Carter tribute in center court with the Dino. Good job by the Raptors this year. I think it's a solid look. I know I'm blanking on a lot of teams, but you know, there's just so many out there. Sixers, I'm okay with. I mean, you know, the Liberty Bell themed jersey in navy this time. A little plain Jane, but it's okay. It works. It's Philadelphia. It works for Philly. I would like to see the Sixers expand outside of the Liberty Bell and you know, the Declaration. As important as those things are to our country's history, and next year we are celebrating the 250th birthday of America, but there's so much other things in Philly that you can celebrate. And I've said this for years. I'd love to see a jersey done in celebration of the murals in Philly. There's so many great murals in Philly. As I was driving, coming down Broad Street, I made mention of the Dick Allen mural on one of the walls. Philly's just loaded with these awesome pieces of art and murals on the side of buildings and everything. And I'd love to see the Sixers one of these years do a mural-inspired CD edition jersey. They could do stuff inspired by the food too. They could do, you know, of course, the cheesesteaks, the pretzels, you know, the soft pretzels, whatever, roast beef sandwiches, what have you, right? That Philly's just known for. But there's so many great food options in Philly. It's a wonderful food city, and the surrounding suburbs too. So my waistline kind of shows it, as I'm in front of Wawa right now. But all right, everyone. Well, it has stopped raining, so that's good. Right, just in time for me to pull up here. I'm gonna get going to get some food. I'm hungry. I'm getting hangry, Slim. Angry. Yeah. But Slim. Christ. So I'm gonna get going so I can get my food, so I can get back home and eat. But thank you all, as always, for watching. Thanks for giving me your time. Almost an hour here of joy. Again, what do you always have to do? You gotta leave those likes, like. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hoping to get to 2K subs by the end of the year. We're at 18,000 plus. You can make that happen. We have just over a month to go. Tell your family, tell your friends. Hit that sub button. Always appreciate it. And thanks to all my subscribers as always. And hit the bell icon so you're always not notified. Do I have a bell here? Yes, I do. You always have to hit the bell icon so you get notified to all future content from yours truly. You never know what you're going to see, whether it's the Into Life series, Into Life Iced, which I have another one coming pretty soon, whether it's vehicle vlogging like I did today as part of the Into Life, whether it's Mighty Reviews, whether it's Season of the Fan. There's so many different options now on this channel. You never want to miss an episode, so hit that bell icon to get alerted to it. All right, everyone. Well, thanks again for watching. Thanks again for all your support. Let's go Birds tomorrow night against the Lions. Let's teach those Lions a thing or two about what it is in South Philly. And we'll take it from there. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.